Toodles here, time to doodle. Make a giant scribble across your page, connecting the start and end points. I rounded off the intersecting lines, but this wasn't necessary for the design I ended up doing. Sadly, my camera cut off, but I drew these shapes with rounded edges inside each of the segments of the larger design. Color in those shapes with your favorite coloring supplies. I used Grabie dual-tone brush tip acrylic markers for this. The coloring process is always so soothing to me, and I love how all these colors came together. But once I'd colored in all those shapes, I realized that my original intended design was not going to be possible with the shapes that I did. But that's okay, I'll save that for another design. That's also why those rounded edges ended up not being necessary for me. Once you've colored in all those shapes, take a black marker and fill in all the negative space between the shapes. At this point, I'm thinking I might just have to scrap this because it's not at all what I had intended to create. But that's what I love about doodling. What you set out to make isn't always what you end up creating. But if you trust the process, sometimes you can end up with something even cooler than you intended to make. And that's a lot like life, isn't it? Sometimes we find ourselves being pulled in unexpected directions that we never imagined, but in the end, it all makes sense, even if it doesn't at this moment in time. After I finished coloring the negative space, it felt like something was missing here, so I went back to each of those shapes and drew fun little doodles inside them. My doodles aren't perfect, I'm still pretty new to all of this, but I trusted the process, and I happen to love how the result turned out. Better than I expected, actually. I'd love for you to try this yourself and tag me in any pictures that you take of your artwork, or you can print out a similar version to color for free at the link in the description box. Trust the process, friends, and make art even if it isn't pretty.